What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. And I want to talk a little bit about Allan Babic versus Tom Little. You know, brutal knockout, third round. Um, Listen, he's a work in progress. Um, I like watching the progression of a fighter. Um, I don't like to start throwing them in there against fighters before they're ready. Just start throwing random names out, and um, I see he has decent power. He puts pressure on. He's a flat-footed guy. He's not really fast on his feet. Decent speed, nothing too crazy. He goes upstairs and downstairs nice. He does mix that up. And like I said, he's a work in progress. He has heart. He seems to have a decent, he seems to have a chin so far. I haven't seen him really get rocked too much. Um, So as he steps up in competition, of course, you always see more and learn more about the fighter. Now, I think people are getting way ahead of themselves comparing him to Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois. You know, even when like Wilder or Fury, like I've heard people already saying, "Oh, this guy," um, you know, even for those who think he wouldn't win, I feel like it's disrespectful to it, especially to the unified champion of the world. It's disrespectful to the WBC champion. It's disrespectful to a top guy, period, to actually look at what he has right now versus what they have. Okay, like I said, he mixes it up, body, head well. He puts on good pressure. He's a decent puncher. Okay, he's also easy to hit. He's there to be hit. His footwork is not there. I can see right now he couldn't handle a jab and movement. Simple. A jab and movement will bother him. Um, he comes in a straight line. He has no head movement at all. Right now, he doesn't move his head. With his style, especially his size, his style, it would suit him well if he did. And the way he mixes it up, head and body, he'd be a lot more dangerous just with that alone. You know, um, he has heart. He's saying he want a challenge right now. Even when fighters talk a lot of shit and they start calling names, they're trying to bring more attention to themselves. Okay, I don't really think that his team, he's only like 5 fights in. Okay, I don't think his team is foolish enough to try to put him in here. I mean, I don't see that happening. And I mean, and AJ, not a Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, people still feel like he has something to prove. I feel like, and I understand that. Yeah, we need because he hasn't had his step up fight yet, but him and Joe Joyce will be that fight. Okay, I don't see Allan Babic beating Joe Joyce. Okay, right now, no. Like I say, he's a work in progress. I don't think it's fair to compare him to those guys because, for one, I don't see him beating any of those guys. And the purpose of the video is not to tear him down. It's to pretty much, give him his props and just, make mentions of who he is. It was like I said, he controlled every round in that fight. It was a brutal knockout. He controlled every round in that fight. And pretty much, Tom Little couldn't handle it. It's as simple as that. Now, on the other hand, I did see Tom Little and Joe Joyce have a sparring session, which that video is up now. Joe Joyce didn't look good in terms of where his position in boxing is right now and where he's trying to go. And I can understand on that note why people was actually making a comparison in that sense. But understand, now, in my opinion, Joe Joyce, he doesn't beat Tyson Fury. He doesn't beat, no way, he doesn't beat AJ. He doesn't beat Daniel Dubois, in my opinion. Okay? And understand also in sparring, we don't understand, we don't know. What was actually going on in this sense. Have times where the sparring partner is there just to bring the pressure. You may be in a situation of just, okay, being more defensive. Or sometimes guys spar, like we'll spar like 3 or 4 different guys. Let's just say you do a 12-round session and you do 4 with this guy, 4 with this guy, 4 with this guy, and then maybe mix it up. You understand what I'm saying? Where one round with him, next round with him, next round with him, next round with him. We do those things. So yeah, with Joe Joyce didn't look good. But understand, there's a lot of times in sparring where a guy looks good in sparring against a guy, and in an actual fight is different. Now, I don't know if Joy Joyce has had a bad day. And looking at what Allan Babic brings to the table, it to me, or maybe just stylistically, it was difficult. But I don't think he beats Joe Joyce in an actual fight. I think in sparring he looked good. We don't really know. And again, sometimes certain styles will get to a person. But from what I see of Joe Joyce and what I see from Babic, I don't think he beats Babic. I don't think Babic beats him in a fight. It was sparring, and but again, and that's Joe Joyce as well. So the fact that these guys are bringing these other fighters in there as if he could beat them, or just the fact that they're comparing him, no, man, he's a work in progress. He's not ready yet. This guy right now, look, Efe Njamba has more fights than him. Okay, if you right now was to say that the two of them was fighting, more people would probably pick Efe, even though we've seen Efe's, we've seen the him step up in competition, not fighting guys that's ranked. Right now, he's still fighting, the meatball guys. And the biggest name on Efe Njamba's record was Amir Mansour. And Amir Mansour was pretty much a journeyman at that point, washed up over the hill, had already had multiple losses. So Efe Njamba has showed weaknesses in several areas. Like, he's slow, he's heavy-handed, he comes in a straight line, he uses no head movement, he's there to be hit, and he gets very careless on defense. He gets very irresponsible on defense. There's times you watch Efe throw a shot, and then he'll stand there. He does this he'll throw his shot, and he's standing there, just putting his arm out for and he's walking straight in, hands not even guarding himself, and then he'll kind of stand there, throw one shot, stand there, drop his head. I mean, he does very careless things. Who wins between the two of them right now? I don't even know. Because to me, it's one of those things where the lack of experience, who makes the least amount of mistakes in that fight wins. At this point. Okay? And we know that Efe can be hurt with it doesn't have to be a brutal shot to hurt him. Because we've seen him get dropped with a decent shot already. But at the same time, that's the kind of, you don't put him in there right now. Right now, and it's not just because he has 5 fights. It is and it isn't. It's not like he has 5 fights, but this guy's devastated. No, he has 5 fights, and he looks like a guy that has 5 fights. That's why. You understand what I'm saying? He's only doing 8-round fights. So why are we even comparing him to like AJ or Dubois, somebody who's already been through that, been past it a long time ago? So no, he's not ready. I mean, we're not even talking about Adam Kalnaki or Helenius. We're not even talking about guys like that. We're talking about right now elite level fighters. Like, no, people are getting ahead of themselves. It's not about trying to, I don't know if it's a situation where people don't like the guy or they feel like he's overhyped and they're comparing him to these guys. Like, I didn't understand. I'm like, and I saw this on other channels. I didn't respond because, it's like I don't really do that. But I'm pretty much, I watched the fight and I'm saying, why are we even comparing him to guys that are more established right now? Like, no, that's not what he is. Maybe he'll be there one day. Time will tell. And I don't like to break fighters down. But we do address certain things. Him saying he wants to step up in competition, fine. Give him that step up in competition. But we're not talking about an elite level fighter. Right now, I think any elite level fighter knocks him out early. He's not ready. And like I said, he's too easy to get hit, man. Efe Njamba was saying he's better than Anthony Joshua right now, that he'll beat Anthony Joshua. In certain guys, you feel like they have nothing to lose. Because if, first off, I say Anthony Joshua smokes him out his boots. And then the first thing people will say was, he wasn't ready. He was too green. And why did Anthony Joshua even take that fight? And I would agree. I would agree. He's not ready. So, he talks a lot. He's saying things. He's better than Anthony Joshua. And, no. He's fighting guys that's not even ranked, and he's struggling with them, to beat them. So fighters are going to talk. They're going to say things. You even have Mike Tyson, mentioning, about he'd fight Anthony Joshua. And I know he's talking about charity and this and that. And then you have other people jumping up. Oh, he do this, he do this. It's like, look, man, stop it. We just get carried away a lot of times with fighters because of what they've done in the past or a lack of comparing them. No, it's not fair to even put him in that category regardless to what he says. He's not ready. Okay, he's only doing 8-round fights. Anthony Joshua's name, Tyson Fury's name, okay, above all right now, their name shouldn't even come up. As well as a Dubois, a Deontay Wilder, any of the type of guys, a Joseph Parker. Why are we even talking about, Babic in the same breath with them as a competitor? Now, when he starts to get, 20, 25 fights, he starts to get up in that area. And also, it all depends on how fast you progress. So, but I mean, he doesn't even have that amount of fights yet. He's in the single digits, man. Like I said, I think this is his 5th or 6th fight, something like that. He's not ready. He's not ready for them. But for what he brings to the table right now, he, overall, he looks decent. He looks decent. Not special. There's potential there. But again, like I said, he doesn't have really fast hands, decent speed. Nothing special with his footwork. He comes in a straight line. And he's there to be hit. Even, whether he's coming in, he reaches a lot. When he reaches, he leaves himself wide open. He reaches a lot to get in. Right now, Povetkin, for example, I heard someone say, they were talking about Povetkin, and I myself, I can see Povetkin has slowed down a lot. Povetkin, in my opinion, would knock him out. Povetkin, in my opinion, he would knock Babic out. Babic reaches, he's there to be hit. Like I said, he reaches, he's open, he throws shots, and he's out of position to retaliate. And basically, he throws a lot of shots. He's off balance. He doesn't have the best footwork. Like, there's a lot that he has to work on. So, like I said, his progression, I like to watch for fighters' progress, and then we pick things up as they go. But as of right now, no, he's not even in the same league with these guys. So, but salute on a brutal knockout. Like I said, he brought the pressure. He did what he had to do. But his level of competition right now, let's not even talk about anybody that's not doing okay. That's doing more than 8-round fights. Let's not jump conclusions and start thinking ahead. Like, there's no need to boost him or to put him down. Let's look at what he's doing. Let's give him credit for what he has right now. Let's not shoot him down because of comments that other people make. So even for somebody saying, oh, Deontay ain't shit, he destroyed Deontay right now, I doubt that very seriously. But even for people saying that, even for people that think for some reason that he beat AJ or beat Fury, I mean, I'm not going to shoot him down as a fighter because of what they say. And even if he's talking that kind of shit, FA was doing the same thing. And like I, addressed that in the video, like, yeah, FA, we applaud the fact that you got heart and that you're even, mentioning these guys' names. But at the same time, us who have some sense, seeing what you bring to the table, know, unless you land the luckiest punch of your life, those guys would smoke you out of your boots right now. And that is who you have to, I mean, if anybody, it has to be someone on that level. Not an elite guy. And FA is far from elite. Babic is far from elite. Like I said, they're both a work in progress. So before you even start getting to that, maybe one day their paths will cross. Maybe. But until he starts even doing 10-round fights, it's not even necessary to compare him to FA right now. Because he's, like I said, he 5 fights in, he's doing 8 rounds. Start going some 10-rounders. And even until you complete a 10-round fight, okay, the fact of the matter is you're not even in that category of a 10-round fight, having 10-round fights yet. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the point of the video is not to shoot the guy down, but it's like, if you're going to compare him to these guys, that's exactly what's going to happen, because he's just simply not ready. He's not ready. And then, But I point out the things that I've seen that he does good, and he's very limited right now. Right now, what he does good, the things that he do wrong, the mistakes, his lack of experience would outweigh his good against not even an elite fighter, just an elite fighter, just someone who's sharp. He's just not ready yet. And he hasn't had any fights yet where we could even look at him and think that he could beat these guys. Or, even share the ring with them. Being a sparring partner is one thing. You understand? Somebody made a comment and said, remember, Larry Holmes was getting the best of Ali in sparring. Well, remember, Larry Holmes got the older version of Muhammad Ali. Larry Holmes didn't get the prime Ali. That's not who he was sparring with. So even when Larry Holmes say he was faster than Ali, he could throw a jab faster, he was out jab. Yeah, well, at that point, Ali was not the same Ali. You were his sparring partner, but no, this wasn't a prime Ali. This wasn't the fastest version. This wasn't the Ali that could throw all these combinations, and this wasn't the same Ali. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, whatever you was able to do with Ali then is because Ali was fading. Ali wasn't the same fighter. So even though Ali was still good to a certain point, this wasn't the same Ali. So even if Babic does good in sparring against a Dillian White or any other elite fighter for that matter, remember, it's sparring. It's sparring. So for that matter, okay, imagine, the Cassius Clay version of Ali, especially, okay, imagine that Ali versus Larry Holmes. You still think the outcome is the same? Is the 38-year-old Larry Ali? And again, when they started sparring together, Ali was not the same fighter. So yeah, Larry Holmes got Ali at the right time. Let's just be real. Of course, Larry's a lot younger than Ali, but I'm just saying he got him at the right time because this was not a prime Ali. So the Babic comparison, that wasn't a good one. That wasn't a good comparison. Not only that, like I said, in sparring, your job is to prepare the fighter. Okay, the job of a sparring partner is not to come in there and try to outshine you. Now, when you have these sessions where, okay, let's just go. We've heard rumors about certain fighters getting upset because they get upstage and they kick the sparring partner out. We've heard things like that. And a lot of times people exaggerate and just say things, But like we've seen the footage. If you haven't, it's actually up with Joe Joyce sparring with Tom Little. And yeah, Joe Joyce didn't look good in that sparring session. But again, it was sparring. I remember seeing Thomas Hearns spar with Muhammad Ali. And, no, Ali didn't look great in that. But this was also, again, another version, an older version of Ali. And why was Ali sparring with Thomas Hearns? Because he's much smaller, much lighter, a guy that's going to be faster than other heavyweights. So he's adjusting to, the eye coordination and the movement. His hand speed Thomas Hearns would be faster than any heavyweight that Ali's fought. So this is what that was for. This wasn't because Hearns is a huge puncher. He's a much smaller guy than Ali. So people spar for different reasons. And this is what I'm saying. I believe in that sparring session that, we don't know the details. What was Babic asked to do with that? Not Babic, Tom Little. What was this? Was this, just put pressure, whatever? Was it just a normal sparring match? I don't know. But no, Joe Joyce didn't look good in that sparring match. But again, I don't think that Babic beats him. And I'm saying this because of what Babic just did to Tom Little. People are saying like, oh, you saw, for the people that saw that sparring match, they're saying you saw how bad Joe Joyce looked. Look what Babic just did to Tom Little. So imagine what he'd do to Joe Joyce. And right now, look, things do happen. Don't get me wrong. But I would have to see that to actually believe that. Like I would have to see Babic fight Joe Joyce in a fight, not a sparring match, but in a fight, and do the same thing. Now, as far as being a sparring match, if they were just in there, no holding back, just they're going at it, and okay. But at the same time, there's several people I've seen spar, and it's not the same when they actually fight. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Sugar Ray Leonard, when he was preparing for Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard told the story out of his own mouth. He said that the week of the fight, he sparred a guy. Said his sparring partner knocked him out. Sugar Ray Leonard said that his intentions was he was going to go in there against Marvin Hagler and he was going to go toe-to-toe with him. And watching Marvin Hagler, he said to his brother, whoever, I forgot who it was Marvin Hagler was fighting, but he said he leaned over and told his brother, man, I think I could beat this guy, man. Now, he says that when he got knocked out by his sparring partner, that his team was like, well, damn, Ray, you got knocked out by your sparring partner. How the hell are you going to beat Marvin Hagler, right? Which I can understand why they would feel like that to a degree. To a degree. So, basically, and I do remember hearing stories about it when it happened, but again, you don't know what's rumors. So I do remember hearing about that story. But Ray Leonard confirmed it, like, yeah, sparring, he knocked me out. So he said he's glad that happened because it made him rethink his strategy. So he said, you know what? When he fights Marvin, he's not going to stand there and bang with him. Now, he's going to box and move and, do what we saw him do. Now, does the same sparring partner beat him in an actual fight? We don't know. Now, also, is Tom Little a guy that spars with Joe Joyce often? Because I will say, and a lot of times, most of the times you hear people say they don't like fighting their sparring partners in an actual fight because the sparring partner knows them. So it also could be a thing of Tom Little just knows Joe Joyce's style. It could be that as well. I don't know. But again, anyway, I want to see the guy progress. Like, we want to see where he goes from here. And, when those days come that he's fighting these particular guys, we'll see. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. People thought Adam Kalnacki was going to be, a force to be reckoned with. Now, he still may. He's another guy that I've seen. I feel like he needed, there's still a lot of work he needs as well. When Helenius beat him, it was like, oh, shit, that wasn't supposed to happen. So, you never know. But with Kalnacki, I saw him as he was still a green guy. There was still a lot of things that he had to work on. So yeah, let's not put a guy in that's doing 8-round fights and start comparing him to world champions and guys that's elite level fighters as complete disrespect. And again, no, there's nothing special about Babic's style, his skills. He's a work in progress. And let's just see where he goes from here. Because no, right now, it's not even fair to put him in that category. Anyway, this is all I'm going to say on this video. And I will catch you guys on the next one.